What's something about moving to or living in Australia that you least expected so far? I'm just not sure if moving to Australia is worth it. Let me explain. I've been talking about doing a Q&A for a long time, and honestly, I just feel like I didn't have the time, or maybe there weren't enough interesting questions for me to really answer. Maybe there wasn't enough intrigue. With 2022 behind us and 2023 coming up, I feel like I want to answer some of the questions that I didn't answer in a video in the last year. And if I didn't answer it in the video in the last year, then I probably won't answer it or make a video answering it before this year starts. So I want to answer all my 2022 questions right now. Before I do answer any questions, I just want to give you guys a quick up to speed. If you haven't watched any of the videos, I would consider going back and watching some of the videos that I've made in the past. Start at the beginning of my channel and watch all the way up to this point, and you'll understand a little bit more of where we're at in this story. But last year I moved with my wife from America all the way to Australia, and we are starting a coffee shop. Grace and I have lived here for 6 months, and there are a lot of things that I have gone through, or a lot of things that I've noticed. Really just a lot of life that's been lived in the last 6 months we've been here. I would say that we're semi-adjusted. Still haven't really developed a super strong community yet. Looking for that, and looking to find a place where we can kind of lay roots down here in Sydney. Also, before I start answering questions, I want you, if you have a question, or maybe this video inspires a question that you have about anything, could be YouTube, could be about starting a business, could be about moving to Australia, or really anything that you want to ask, put it in the comments below, because I will be doing a Q&A at some point in the future, and I can go back to this video and look at those questions. I have 8 questions that I've looked through and searched for and found that I thought were kind of interesting, and I'm gonna try to answer those in 8 minutes. So the first question I have is from GMV17, and this question is, favorite traditional Aussie dish you've had so far? I don't really know what my favorite Australian dish is. I don't really know if I've had that many Australian dishes. I think my number one answer, maybe this is boring, but my number one answer probably is the fish and chips. I just feel like an Australian fish and chips is so much better and superior than the fish and chips I've had in the past. Yeah, I'd say that's my favorite thing, other than just like chocolates and things like that that I've really enjoyed. I don't know, what's your favorite Australian dish? Maybe I need to like find out what Australian dish I need to try is, so put that in the comments below. My second question is from Kanga Blue 4502, and they said, welcome, how are you settling in? I hope well and enjoying getting to know your fabulous country. What are you hoping to see/do/experience in Australia next, when you get the time, of course? The thing I want to see next, I've been to Brisbane, I've been to Adelaide. I don't know if it's considered the outback or just really get out into the wilderness more. I've been in the city a lot, and I feel like it would be really, really cool to get out in nature more. The thing I want to do in Australia is do a big like overlanding trip with a like 4-wheel drive, like do a big trip outside the city. I think that'd be really fun, and I haven't done that yet. This next question is from Victoria 2538. Where are you opening? I'm a barista in Sydney looking for a job. Victoria, we're in Petersham. We're right on the corner of Livingston and New Canterbury Road. That's where we'll be opening up, and it's gonna be called Bank Coffee. I'm sure at some point we'll be hiring. We're not hiring right now though. All right, my next question from SOS 8353. How much will you use for your coffee startup? All right, that's a really good question. I'm assuming what you're asking is how much money are we gonna use in capital to invest into the coffee shop? And honestly, I don't really know the answer to that question fully. The short end of the answer is a lot of money has been put into it, but you don't necessarily need to invest as much money as we've invested in order to do what we're doing, if that makes sense. We're definitely coming in with a lot of overhead, and I would recommend not coming in with a lot of overhead and doing it what they call the lean startup. The lean startup is where you kind of just build it from a grassroots perspective, social media, develop like a community around it, and then take on extra costs kind of as you go, rather than investing a ton in the beginning and then having a lot of pressure on the opening, which is what we're doing. And I'm starting to realize that's a lot of pressure. All right, next question. This question is actually not really a question, it's more of a statement, but I just thought it was interesting and I thought I could talk about it. Also, there was 46 likes on this comment, so I figured this was a good one. Preview 43 said, moving to Australia, if nothing else, you just added years to your lifespan. Enjoy the ride. I think it's kind of funny because I didn't really know what people meant when they said like, oh, it's so much healthier in Australia and like all the preservatives, and I didn't really know if that was real. I'm not a scientist and I definitely am no health expert, but what I will tell you is I lost 10 pounds. I don't know how many kilos that is, but I lost a good amount of weight in the first 3 months of living here. Eating pretty much the same thing I was eating. I was going out to eat a lot less than I was in the States, but I also feel like the bread and just a lot of the foods have a lot less ingredients and a lot less preservatives in them. I honestly have no idea what the science is behind all of it, but I started feeling and I noticed a physical difference in my body from eating the food here. So I think there's probably something to that. I think I've probably added, maybe years to my lifespan by eating the way I do when I'm here. Again, I don't know if that's scientific or if it's just because there's less options for me to like pig out on fast food. There's a lot of factors to that, but it's interesting anyway. Thanks for the question. All right, this next question is kind of a funny question that I feel like I get asked all the time. And this is a representation of so many questions I get asked when I talk about moving to Australia from America. I get so many like political questions. DC Master Mind First 9418, and it says, did you move here to get away from your messed up political system? No, I didn't. I think that the political system in America is pretty crazy. It's really in your face, and I just get the sense, this is something actually interesting, I get the sense that Australia's isn't really that way, and I don't really hear people talking about politics as much here. For better or for worse, no, I didn't move here because of that. I would never move out of America for that reason. I've heard a lot of younger people especially say, I'm so done with America, I want to leave America and never come back because of the political climate. To any Australian that's watching this video, America is just so different than what the media says. And there are certainly parts that are crazy, and there are certainly things that go down that are very horrible, just like any other country. But for the most part, it's just so different than what the media says. And the political climate, if you were to focus on it and make it the most important thing in your life, certainly it would drive you crazy. But that's probably true for any place in the world. There's things you can focus on that would drive you crazy if you focused on it and made it the priority in your life. For me, politics is really not the most important thing ever. I feel very blessed to be in countries, both Australia and America, that have freedoms to vote and freedoms to choose people in government and really affect the people who are making decisions for you. All right, my second to last question is from Chandler J. Sharp, and he said, I'll be moving to Australia in a few months. What's something about moving to or living in Australia that you least expected so far? I can also relate to the food. Grew up in Georgia and now living in Texas. Thanks for the question, Chandler. And I guess this was 5 months ago you sent this, and hopefully your move is going good if you have moved or if you're getting ready to. I think the main thing for me that I've just been shocked by, and I think this is a part of moving to Sydney more so maybe than Australia, but it's just the expense. I think where I lived in America was a pretty relatively expensive. It fails to even compare to how expensive it is here. I mean, rent is so expensive in Sydney, and I also know that the housing market and car market and so many things that affect your daily life are so expensive here. Obviously, I know for the people who are living in non-city areas, non-urban areas in Australia are probably hating that I'm saying that because it might paint a wrong picture, and maybe it is because other places are cheaper, but just specifically Sydney. So the last question I have is from No1353. Second video I've watched, gotta say, you're probably the most relaxed new arrival I've seen. Do you enjoy our coffee culture? How are you finding adapting to Australia life? Sorry if I missed anything you've covered. Enjoying your vids. All the best, guys. Wow. Super kind. Thank you for commenting. Hopefully you're watching this video. Hopefully you subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. I would be crazy if I did not enjoy the coffee culture here. So much good coffee. And honestly, one of the reasons why we're here, so that we can open up this business here and serve coffee. So yeah, I'm enjoying the coffee culture. It's amazing. I love coffee here. Although, Asheville, North Carolina, if anyone's watching from there, we have good coffee. I'd be shocked by how good the coffee is in my hometown. And the second question, how are you adapting to Australian life? This is a much more, I guess a nuanced question. Like, this question has a lot to like unpack. I think this could be its own video in general. First of all, I'd say just like, maybe go watch some of my videos that talk about this. I don't know if adapting to Australia is the hardest part or if it's all the things that you have to do on the way. Like, for instance, saying goodbye to your family, living away from your family, and like using FaceTime. And there's so many things you have to adapt out of your original country, and then you have to start adapting. Not only that, but like I have false preconceived notions of Australia that I had to get over. So I'd say it's like 3 parts. Yeah, I had like, first I had to adapt from not being in America. And then I had to adapt all my preconceived notions about Australia. I had to like unlearn those. And then my third step is like actually adapting to what Australia is really like. And I think that's where I'm at. I think I've somewhat gotten past not living in America. There are moments where I'm like shocked by how much I miss stuff or certain things that I just haven't untrained my mind to do that are American things. And then, yeah, like unlearn how Australia was in my mind. And let me tell you, I had no idea what Australia was really like. After doing that and continually doing that and forgetting what Australia was in my mind, now I'm like learning. I mean, it's just a million things a day that you observe that are just these slight things, like a million tiny little things that are different. I will say that most people I've met while being here have been super encouraging. You guys, the people watching my videos, have been super encouraging. And I haven't had a bad time adapting. I would say that I am having a positive experience from the day I got here all the way to here. There have been bad days, but there's been more good days than bad days. And I'm super encouraged to keep doing that. Over the next year, I am so hopeful and so excited for what 2023 is going to be like for me in Australia and what that's going to mean. This year, I am going to be opening up a coffee shop. I'm going to be hopefully developing more of a community. I am going to make more and more videos about my experience. And so there's a lot to be excited about in this next year. Thank you for watching this video and everything else that I put on this channel. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel and putting your notification bell on and liking this video. Those 3 things really, really help me and my channel grow and encourage me to make more of these videos. And as always, thanks for stopping by.